I want to bring in now host of The Hill on NewsNation, Blake Burman, who joins us from Washington, D.C. And I'm curious, Blake, I've kind of been in this bubble here since I raced here right after the shots came out, just working my sources with the gunman and the investigation. I haven't been thinking much about the bigger picture. You're in D.C. What's the vibe there? How are lawmakers reacting to this?
So there is the task force, Brian, that is looking into the first Trump assassination attempt, right? That happened some 65 days ago. That was stood up in a bipartisan manner. Democrats, Republicans coming together saying, look, the violence has to end. Both sides saying they want to get down to the bottom of the failures on that day to make sure that something like that never happens again. They have put out a statement this evening saying essentially that they will look into this, of course, and want to get to the bottom of it. And when there's more information, they'll put it out. We do know that the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, spent, according to the Speaker, several hours at Mar-a-Lago earlier today with former President Trump. Trump, of course, off the campaign trail today, as we now clearly see where he was for parts of the day. The reaction will still continue to come in, Brian, but I think the reaction on both sides of the aisle will be essentially in line with what the task force says, which is we need to get to the bottom of how all of this can seemingly happen now twice in 65 days, though, as Dan Abrams pointed out there, and I think rightfully so. For all the failures that we saw in Butler, Pennsylvania 2 months ago, clearly the Secret Service officer or officers involved in this were right on top of it to make sure that it didn't get any further.
Yeah, so much went right today, Blake. And I'm glad you bring up Speaker Mike Johnson. I know that our News Nation desk just flagging just a few minutes ago, posting on X that Kelly and I are departing Mar-a-Lago, he says, where we just spent a few hours with President Trump. We are thanking God for protecting him today. Once again, no leader in American history has endured more attacks and remained so strong and resilient. He is unstoppable, and posting a few images with that as well. Now, and, Blake, I think Dan Abrams said very well that the most important thing is that Mr. Trump is safe tonight, that he survived yet another attempt on his life. So I want us to be delicate and to give this the immediate gravity that it absolutely deserves and the immediate humanity it deserves. We cannot ignore, in the context of all of this, that we are 51 or so days away from this election. How do today's events impact this? What is your read on the situation with all of the sensitivity right now? And also, what does it say about the level of vitriol? What a flashpoint we have reached in our political environment, especially after the lessons, the calls for unity that we saw after Butler, Pennsylvania?
I think, Natasha, Brian hit some of this on the head, which is it is remarkably sad to see our presidential candidates behind bulletproof glass. I mean, think about that for a second. And we've talked about this and showed the images on the Hill on NewsNation for days now, that not only is Donald Trump behind bulletproof glass at his rallies, not only is J.D. Vance behind bulletproof glass at his rallies, but so too is Kamala Harris. She is the sitting vice president. I mean, you think about the Pope mobile for decades, right? The Pope sort of encased in this glass, vehicle, this glass thing on all sides. And that's where we are right now with the state of American politics, or at least the state of the top of the ticket with 51 days to go. You will likely only see the security get even more enhanced, or at least more scrutinized at this point in time. Again, this was not an official event. This was not on the campaign trail, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it is or in what manner it is. The reality is we need to keep these political leaders safe. And luckily today, the Secret Service did its job and did its job as far as we know, to perfection or close to it.
Yeah, no matter where one falls on the political spectrum, I think it is so critical to our democracy. Every person could agree that we are able to keep our candidates safe. News Nation's Blake Burman, I truly appreciate it. I know we're going to be back with you in 11 minutes and that your team is gathering the very latest information as well. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.